Now, hello and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and a resurgent Laurent, or the other way around, Laurent and a resurgent Mike, one or the other. In this episode, we will discuss Manchester United's 3-3 draw with Everton because they're not ready for champions electing this. Liverpool being 27 points off their pace from last year and getting beat by City, and it looks like the league is over. But first, Mike wants to talk about referees and what they mean and how they're treated. And then we have lots of things to talk about, including some football. But right now, the football is not that interesting. So go ahead, Mike. What do you got?
It isn't. It's good to be back, surgically repaired. I've got 9 functional fingers and one that kind of looks like Frankenstein is trying to have sex with one of the Addams family members. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. But we're all good. We got the
Frere Bruler is in your finger.
That's right. I've got the good meds though, so that's why I'm a little bit more chipper tonight.
R.I.P. Frere Bruler.
Yeah.
What a woman.
Oh my goodness. What knockers, doctor?
Yes. Agreed.
I know that's the hot one. Doesn't matter. So we had some incidents this weekend where specifically Mike Dean is not going to be doing a Premier League game this weekend because he got death threats. Now,
did he deserve it?
I think that the death threats are about 5 years late, but I think that more importantly, this shit should happen and will continue to happen more importantly because there's no accountability. All right. And I will give you the perfect example that they didn't even fucking mention, not even so much as a VAR review. City's winning 1-0. All right. And I forget who the defender was. I think it was Diaz. Gets almost a smidge of a cunt hair of Mo Salah. And Salah goes down like he's shot.
He pulled his arm.
Bullshit. It's not a foul that should be a goal. Okay.
No, it is not a foul that should be a goal. No.
Never mind the fact that City had already conceded a penalty, which was, and they biffed it. Okay. So this is the second penalty that Liverpool has been given in the game. You never once heard about how Mo Salah dives, how Mo Salah is a cheat, how Mo Salah can't do anything without scoring penalties. All of these narratives you have to hear about with every other big player in the league. You didn't even hear so much as, was it even a foul? Was it even the rule change that needs to happen? Hockey does this, right? That's a penalty. That is a foul. But you know what? It's a fucking yellow card on Salah, and that basically cancels it out. Right, the NFL does the same thing.
So you're saying you want this. You want this. Yes, he was fouled, and if he hadn't gone down like he was shot with a rifle, we might have given a penalty.
Right, but not only are you not getting the penalty, he's getting a yellow card, and he does that shit again. He's out of here.
But this is the bigger issue. So I listened to like a recap of a watch along. So it's called The Kickoff. It's by True Geordie and a bunch of other YouTubers. And they do like a 20-minute breakdown. Like it's 2 hours long. Obviously, they do the whole game. But they're talking about stuff the whole time.
Is it as the game's going on?
Yeah. You can watch it on Twitch. They're pretty good. They're just guys hanging out, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But it's high quality. Like they do a good job. So shout out to them. But the thing about it is they talked about why you have to go down. Because if you don't go down, you'll get fouled and not get a penalty called.
Sure.
The problem is that they don't call penalties unless you go down.
Exactly. Right. But again, it goes back to this is not the player creating this situation. It is the referee creating this situation. And I think it's about all sports.
I agree.
It is not unique to Premier League football or any specific American sport. There is no accountability. There is no
referees do not have to go in front of the press. Ever.
And you know what? I understand that when you had guys like Clattenburg, like he would make it worse because he already had an ego, right? So he would be a nightmare. And there's so many referees across all sports that think the game's about them. Like people actually paid money to see them blow a fucking whistle.
Well, the thing is with the Premier League, they do elevate the referees because there's only 10 of them. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like they are part of the show. And this can go into some of our other stuff later on. They are part of the show. Clattenburg is part of the show. Mike Dean is part of the show. The coaches are part of the show because there's nothing else, right? Like you said the other day, there's 20 teams and 6 of them matter.
Okay. But okay, fine. But if that's the case, and if you're going to have them on the stage, give them a few lines, right? That's it.
I agree.
Like you have to have them
this is
answer
the other
for,
like, let's just blow this thing out.
and I don't even know that you need the media. I don't know that I don't think we go from 0 to 60 like that, right? Like there needs to be some semblance because there are so few games relative to American sports, aside from the NFL, but even still, there's more teams in the NFL. You have to have some kind of like just strict review on every single game.
For every like they have in the NBA, they do a 2-minute report after the game.
Yes, something like that.
Where I think they do have that. It's not.
And you know what? I don't even want to hear about offsides. I don't care. Right? It's not. We've beaten that dead horse and we've taken that back and shot it a handful of times. What I want to hear about is why did you call this foul? Why? And specifically cracking down on simulation, on diving. Right? You're gonna get, if you did it right, you wouldn't have a player like Salah or Kane or whoever sent off. What you would get is after halfway through the season, they would miss the game against Chelsea next week because they have a accumulation of yellow cards for diving.
Or the other thing that would happen is they might actually score more goals because they don't go down.
I think the play around the box would be unquestionably more exciting and entertaining.
Well, I mean, it would be like, not that everyone's messy, but the fact of the matter is the dude doesn't go down.
The difference is
doesn't have to.
So everything would adjust, right?
Yeah.
Defenders would get more handsy, would get more aggressive and more physical, right? And then the penalties that you call would actually make a ton of sense. So I think that it, like I said, it does start, at least for me, with the referees and the lack of accountability that the league has allowed them to get away with. So like I said, I don't think there is a front facing, as much as I sit here and bang a table saying they should have to answer for these bullshit decisions. That's probably not the answer. It probably makes it
could
worse.
even be a PR guy who comes out and talks for them after he talks to the ref.
Right. Exactly.
Just somebody.
Yes. So, okay, when there's a play challenged in the NHL, right? If there's a play challenge right now in the Ranger Islander game that's happening that I'm not watching because I can't even handle them right now, and whatever the decision is,
stays derby in fucking hockey. What are you doing?
We're gonna play them 10 times this year. I need a break.
Oh, okay. You're in break mode.
I'm in break mode. Yeah, I'm in break mode, but I watched a show about fantasy sports for like 2 hours today. So like whatever, I watched the league all over again. Anyway, not important.
But the other game is, there's been even weirder stuff. Like the West Ham game was ridiculous.
Well, that's what I mean. Suchek, right? Like that's where Mike Dean got these death threats from, for sending Thomas Suchek off for something absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
But when that happens, the league, the NHL league, comes out and says, no matter what the outcome of the review was, this call was challenged, which means anytime there's a VAR check, that means that call on the field is being challenged to some degree. It's by the league offices. It's not by one of the managers, but they explain exactly what's happening. Now, that doesn't have to be in real time, because if Mike Dean is on the field and he's the guy deciding that, we don't get Mike Dean's take on it until after the game. So we need his take on it.
I have a take that goes the other way to how we've been feeling. Why the fuck do we give a shit that much? Like, the wins and losses is just, let's not talk about refs. Like, he called it. Just keep going. Like, just get over it.
Well, because I mean, I think that the margins in these games are so small, and then you do have something where, again, what if Liverpool kicked on and they get a 2-1 win? You're not saying who gives a shit now.
No, but I am now willing to sort of be like, in the moment, the game flowing, like, why? I just have this question, and it's never been really answered. It's like, who is this perfection in calls for? Like, what is its purpose? Are we worried because gambling is happening? Like, what is the point?
Yeah, no, I know. And
what is the point of sport, right? Ultimately, it is entertainment, right? We understand that. It's to give people this sort of tribal experience. Like, why do we like sport? We like to see the best of the people playing the best. We want it on the level as much as possible. I don't think referees are throwing games, and it's good that we have all this stuff, but like, why is it like enough to fucking lose our minds? Like,
well, not only that, changing rules, right? Like changing rules 5 times in 3 years. But no, I get where you're going with this, but it's because this is how you govern the game, essentially, right? But the problem is you're trying to govern gray area with black and white, and that's where the problem comes in. You've always said it's accuracy, not precision, is how you win the day.
Yeah. It just has to be accurate, like,
right.
And I think it's fine. And let's talk about some games, but at the end, let's make sure we talk about this narrative stuff. So, we had good games. We had surprisingly good games. Like, I thought we were going into the week, it was going to be kind of shit. And then a couple games ended up being really good. But first, Man United, Everton, first half of that game, Man United, and this is weird because no one ever talks about it like this. They literally played the best they've played all year. Right? They were cohesive. They played as a team. They scored good goals. They kept Everton from doing anything. In the first half, I think I looked up and Everton had 2 shots, which is bad.
Yeah.
They were up 2. They're cruising. They're good. Second half, early in the second half, Decore gets a goal. Guy gets lost, of course. De Gea takes a shot, loses it, makes a bad play. Then James, another play. He's literally standing there. No one closes him down. He fires it in. McTominay brings United back up because Jordan Pickford, the shit goalkeeper, is not playing. But somehow Everton found a guy who's worse. Somehow.
Even worse.
Now
I felt bad. I did.
He looked lack of confidence. Osborne. He looked like I should not be in this game, right? It's one thing to put another goalkeeper in. It's another thing when like Emi Martinez comes in. It's like, I've been waiting to get rid of this piece of shit for fucking 10 years. I got this. This guy was not that guy.
He looked like he wasn't ready for the moment.
Right. Yeah. McTominay brings him in, ties the game. Another shit thing that happened. So there's all this racist shit that's going on. That's even worse. Twanzebe comes on in the 95th minute, draws a foul at about like 20 yards on the touchline from the halfway line. And the clock is ticking down, right? It's literally the 96th minute.
But a set piece nonetheless.
Digne can't kick it into the box. He has to kick it to basically the front of the 18-yard box. And fucking United fuck it up. Flicks off of Keane onto Calvert-Lewin. Draw. Boom. 3 shots on goal, 3 shots on target, 3 goals. Everton leave laughing. Like, we should have never won this game. They shouldn't have. United were great for once. And United have to live with, we suck. And the narrative has to be, they blew it. They were in the title chase. They're not ready for it. Blah, blah, blah. It was a good game. It was enjoyable. I was happy to see Digne, who we've been saying is like the best left back that no one knows about, putting balls into the box. Calvert-Lewin, now 2 goals in 2 games. James with an incredible goal. But United still fragile at the back. These were moments where I can't remember anyone's name, but that's okay. The fridge, fucking big head. Maguire's running around like a loser. Lindelof is lost. There's just the same problems. Pogba went off. He got injured. Fernandes scored an incredible goal.
That was awesome.
Maybe the goalkeeper could have made. Cavani also. So United were good, but narrative says they fucked it up. But that was literally the best game they played. It's laughable. Ole out. Still Ole out.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to get that, right? It is technically some semblance of a derby, right? There's heightened importance because everybody wants somebody other than City to win the league right now. That's so apparent.
All the narrative is that, just City, like just listening to after the Liverpool game, it's just incredible how little they're actually talking about City.
Yeah, so brave and stunning and brave Liverpool. That's it, right? Like the story coming out of this weekend. If you have never been to England and you looked at the table and then you looked at the scores, you went, so yeah, the fact that Man City won by 3 goals is a big story. Nope. Liverpool fought valiantly in the second half to claw back a goal on that penalty, the aforementioned Salah, like absolute dive,
rifle shot,
judge. And then City put them to the wood back behind the wood.
Allison just imploded.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, even still, like be able to have the
class. They were ruthless. They were like, you fucked up, we're scoring.
Bang. Yeah.
So, and they were good goals. Like, yes, he fucked up, but one Foden skips past 2 guys, does an incredible cross. The other one, the chip over Allison to Raheem was incredible. Like, they really went after them. And then the final goal by Foden is just...
Which, you teed me up now. Can we put like Pep Guardiola's hand in a vice, like one of those old vices from wood shot from like
I
eighth grade.
have one right here.
Yeah. Put one in there and squeeze the shit out of it until he promises to stop benching Phil Foden. Unbelievable.
All those front four spots are just rotated.
But it's bullshit because he is having like an absolute tear of a season. Right? He is a shoo-in for Young Player of the Year and should be considered for Player of the Year in the Premier League. But he's not. He might not get either because he doesn't get enough minutes.
Yes, but that's not going to happen. That's okay.
Sure, fine. But my point is he's not getting enough minutes to prove his case, right? Like the whole season, right? It has been City's looking a little wobbly. City's actually working out their defense without a striker. They scored 3 goals from inside the 6-yard box without a striker on the field.
Because Gundogan is just like, I'm being the striker. He was in the box, right?
Well, so Foden on the first goal gets technically what's characterized as a big chance miss, and Gundogan puts away the rebound. But that's all Foden making it so that Howison cannot stop the ball completely.
Yeah.
Right.
Incredible.
So, yeah, I mean, he created, I believe, 3 goals of the 4 in some respect.
Yes.
And this is at Anfield. This is not like you're playing, No,
they didn't lose for 47 years. They were there when the Duomo in Russia with Alexander II was there when they put that in 1906.
Yeah,
they hadn't won, and then they lost 3 in a row.
Right.
To Burnley.
But this was everybody's still waiting for Liverpool to have that classic moment. Which, by the way, from the last 2 years, 3 years, that's it. Like everything else, Liverpool has been Spursy. Okay, like their history the last 25 years.
To be fair to Liverpool, they were really good in the first half.
Sure, no, absolutely. But
they actually played well. Like they shouldn't feel like they got whooped. They collapsed in the second half.
The goalkeeper just totally fucked them. But
who knows what? I mean, that counts, right? Pressure, big game. He was sick, and all of a sudden he's just losing his mind. I don't know what happened.
Absolutely. But nonetheless, Liverpool looked good. Going into the game, everybody goes, all right, Liverpool is going to shut these fucks up. They're going to get 3 points at home, and we've got a title race. Because that's all
that's all they want. Yeah.
That's all they wanted.
Yeah.
And Liverpool actually capitulate. City are, like you said, ruthless. And they basically go 10 points clear with the game in hand and 5 points, I believe, on United. So the title race is kaput, done, over, which I'm super excited about it because I want this season to be over. But I think everybody else they're still holding on. It's the same.
Because they got to sell out. They got to sell 15 more weeks.
Yeah, I know. But the problem is they didn't pivot to the top 4 race, which is what you should have done, right? You should have been talking about how United and Leicester and Liverpool are locked into a top 4 battle. And then there's like a couple of also rans, including Spurs, who are kind of trying to get a seat at that table. That's the storyline for the rest of the season. It's no different than when City ran away with it a couple of years ago. But they couldn't resist. They couldn't help themselves. All they said was, nope, United fucked this up. United bottled it. They couldn't handle the lead, blah, blah, blah. Listen, even if they did win that game, they would have been 3 points back of City, and City would have had a game in hand. So conceivably, City could be 6 points clear. And it's still...
I don't think anyone's... This is the thing with United. Nobody, not fucking Gary Neville, not Jamie Carragher, nobody thinks that United are good enough to win the league. Nobody.
No, but why is it then the storyline? Why is it they bottled the league? That's bullshit.
Because they're the biggest team in the world.
Because they have to say that, right? It's just... And that's the thing, I've been bitch moaning, complaining to you and whatever else. And that's where I'm just so exhausted. And to be quite honest, we are right around the period where we shut down last year. Yes. And I'd say it was probably 2 or 3 weeks after where we were, right? The last game I remember was Spurs City, actually, the Bergwijn game.
Well, no, it was in March.
It was early March, though.
Yeah, early March.
So fine. But like I said, we're 2-3 weeks out. Nonetheless, around this time of year, granted, Spurs had a shit ton of injuries. It was full Mourinho ball at that point.
To go back to your point, though, City actually do have a tough run right now because we got an extra game put in. City literally have to play Spurs, Arsenal, Everton, United again. Like, if there's a time for the team to get some draws, maybe it's now.
Sure,
but Aguero's coming back soon.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and you add in Champions League in there, and obviously Arsenal's a different team than they looked like a month ago.
Yeah, but they can still beat you. right?
No,
You know
that's
what
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying. I wasn't being derogative. I'm saying they look like a different team, So
yeah, they're not shit.
No,
Even
not at
though
all.
they lost to Aston Villa.
Right. Yeah. And we'll touch on that in a sec. But which, by the way, I didn't watch any of it. But
Didn't
it
either.
was probably 2.5, 3 weeks. They have to play Tottenham, Everton, Arsenal, West Ham, United, and Gladbach in the Champions League. So that's all 6 games between now and March 6th, which is the next 30 days.
That's a lot of fucking games.
That's a lot of top half of the table. So
yeah, but City are good, right? Like right now, the way they're playing, they just and I was looking at this because I went into a deep hole. It's like City's defense is not just good; it's Atletico good. Like we're the best defense in Europe.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Right? You have almost twice half as many goals allowed as anybody else. Chelsea's second with 10 goals less.
Yeah,
10 goals more.
It's crazy how good the defense are. The goals they've given up have been a meaningless goal late to Hudson-Odoi, an own goal by Diaz, and then that penalty that was a foul, but it didn't have to be. It's the first mistake Diaz has made all season. He's been incredible. But he doesn't. He's not. He
looked cagey though a lot in that game. That was the first time he was under duress, and you could tell. Like Liverpool's press, especially in the first half, or maybe even they were really pressing hard.
And that was his first Liverpool game. I mean, it's a big deal.
I'm not. He gets a passing grade for me still with the penalty and everything. But he had some cagey spots where he just got his ass out of danger, and you were like, "Oh, that was in the net in another 40."
There were moments there where City. I wasn't scared though. This is the difference. I'm no longer afraid. I'm like, they got this.
yeah, and I get that, and I think that having that play driver forward, I think Sterling looked great, but again,
they were awesome.
Everybody up top looked great. This is a De Bruyne-less team, by the way. Right, so
all of it is incredible. Rodri all of a sudden looks great because he doesn't have to do the things that he's bad at.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And weirdly, the worst player was Cancelo.
Yeah, I was annoyed by that.
Yeah, and then the other thing was Zinchenko fucked up Salah. He was awesome against Salah.
I was waiting. So when I realized the lineup that he was in the lineup, it was only a few minutes into the game. Yeah. And then I saw him on the ball a lot. The thing was he
was so good.
He got forward and didn't really have to be in really dangerous spots with Salah. But, I mean, he really handled him quite well. So, you can tell because Salah was going central.
The thing
to get away from him.
That's the thing. It's almost like those rookie players or like that guy you develop. Zinchenko is like a guy we spent $2 million on that we were just going to be like, we have him. We'll move him for $10 million. It'll be just a guy we have.
Yeah.
And he's now part of the team. He's a guy that's going to go down and be like, yo, I won 7 titles with City, and I was on the Centurions. I was on that team. And everyone's going to go, you were on that team?
You weren't. He's like, yeah, I did. I played 14 times. Oh, shit.
Yeah, but big games. I played at Anfield. Yeah. So other games, Aston Villa, I think we both thought that Aston Villa was probably better than Arsenal anyway. I don't think that result is that shocking.
No.
Our guy, Ali Watkins, got it done. A shockingly good game. I'm just going through the scores here, not through the table. I'm just
quick on Villa there again, and I bring up games played every week, but they're
they still got a couple games in hand. Yeah.
Now
what I don't like that I see is that they're not in possession as much the way they should be. They're playing a little bit. They're not on the front foot as much as they were earlier on where they were popping the ball around. The secretly good game was Newcastle 3, Southampton 2. Bednarik,
crazy game.
Bednarik is going to kill himself. He gave up another own goal, that they credited to Almiron, but he was bad. They were down to 9 men, and Southampton still couldn't break through, but they did come back. JWP, our boy, free kick master, he has more free kicks goals than the entire Premier League.
I think I saw he has 5 and the rest of the league has 4 or
why can't Spurs get him? He can play with Højbjerg again.
You know why they can't get him? Because they're just so hung up on the idea of Christian Eriksen.
Why can't he be Winks?
Because
he's better than Winks.
He's significantly better than Winks, right? But like, and he's significantly better than Sissoko, who he would actually replace in the 11. But
can Sissoko fucking score or do
no,
anything resembling offense?
No. The problem is that someone asks him to do that, and the problem is actually that the guy who is asking him to do that is in charge of the fucking lineup, right? Like, if you're telling me,
but Newcastle get their win. They are
fun game,
somehow. It was you know what it is. Steve Bruce said this. He's like, you don't win unless you have great players. And basically what I do is I just roll them out. It's 4-4-2. We defend, and whatever happens at the other end of the pitch, I just have to have better players. And if I don't, I lose. And if I get draws, and if I do, I win. And you can see it. Saint Maximin is back. All of a sudden, their offense is working.
He's a game changer for them. Yeah,
that guy's fucking that. Now there's a guy that Spurs needs to.
No, I don't want any part of him.
No, but a weird guy, a bizarro guy, a freak.
What? Well, you mean a guy who has skill with the ball?
Yeah, Maverick. A weirdo.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you mean like, I don't know, Dele Alli? They have him, man. Like,
yeah, but he's not tricky going past people like that.
Yeah, he is. He's like the king of nutmegs.
It's jerk off Mourinho. Fulham not getting a win. I only bring up Fulham and I bring up Burnley, Brighton. That was Burnley's best performance ever. I watched that because, I'm obsessed with Brighton. Burnley were like passing the ball around and kicking the shit out of Brighton. I was like, oh, Brighton's in trouble. But they get a draw, Fulham draw, and our boys, West Brom, you guys beat. The relegation battle is a nothing burger. It's there. The nearest team is 8 points away. Someone's going to have to collapse. There doesn't look like a likely candidate. So it looks like Fulham, Sheffield, and West Brom will go down unless a miracle happens.
Which I feel for Sheffield now because they're finally putting up some fight. I wish they could have just scrounged together a couple of points and gotten a few less heartbreaking defeats.
Right, because then they're like basically 8 points off where they should be. It should be a fight. Yeah.
Right. So
so that fight's there. Our boys swept up in the whole top four thing. Leicester drew to Wolves, which is bad, but of course Leicester aren't part of the narrative, so swept under the rug. That game doesn't matter, for some reason.
By the way, that game stunk. I watched it. I was excited for it.
That's a shit game.
I was excited for Wolves to start to look like Wolves again, who, by the way, are mired in 14th place right now.
Yeah, they're not good right now.
They're having a really tough go of it. They miss Jimenez so bad. Willian Jose or whatever is, you know what? I don't play Fabio Silva. You're basically using one of them as.
Why not play both of them? Because Traore's terrible.
Yeah, I get that too. That's fair.
Like he could probably play out on a wing. Why not? Yeah, I mean, I think any points that Leicester gets when they're not playing Ndidi and Vardy are bonus points. And Vardy almost came in and grabbed a goal there. He did like a classic Vardy goal. He's just so tricky. I just love him because nobody wants him. He's disgusting. He looks like a rat. He says terrible things. He's the most English scumbag on the planet. But the guy just scores goals. He's white Defoe. So
it's white trash Defoe.
White trash Defoe, even better. So that guy's great. I don't even know what happened in your game, Spurs. Harry Kane came back, and all of a sudden Spurs worked. But they played against West Brom. You should beat the shit out of West Brom.
I didn't watch a second of it. I saw that Kane was playing, and I went, either he's going to score or I'm going to be really angry. So I'm not going to watch. He did score. They were fine. I saw the highlights. Classic West Brom bunkering game where they should have had 2 or 3 in the first half. Didn't. Kane, actually his goal, phenomenal pass by Højbjerg find him in space in the box.
Just boom. But on the half turn, just things that Harry Kane does that you don't really realize. There's a lot of nuanced stuff about footballing that you and I don't know. But when someone stops and points it to you, he always stands on the half turn, never with his back to goal. He's always ready to touch it and go. So
he got the hockey assist for the second goal from his own box, right? And all it was just
what the fuck was he doing
down?
Another question.
Because that's he has to do everything, don't you know? Yeah. Right? Like when Pep called us the Harry Kane team, it was like sort of an insult and sort of a joke and whatever. We're the Harry Kane team.
But I think it's because Pep forgets things. But you were the Eriksen and Harry Kane team, and now you're just the Harry Kane team.
Yeah.
Because Pochettino did kill Eriksen. Let's.
That's fine. That's fine. And I thank him for his work.
Service.
No problem.
Sheffield United, Chelsea get another win. The narrative is, Tuchel's got this team moving. They're doing stuff. They're kind of they have more points in 4 games than Frank Lampard did in 8.
Right.
In 8 weeks. So, Tuchel gets to seem like he has changed the team around. Against Sheffield, Chelsea had 9 shots. Okay, so let's just take it easy. So they're not giving up much.
When they fired Frank, right? I was like, look, coming off of that really bad game against Leicester, they had the FA Cup they were going to win. I said, and they didn't make it this far, but I was like, look, they've got Wolves and Burnley, and then they go to North London. They need to get 4 to 6 points to be able to walk into that game against Spurs and be fine. He didn't make it that far, but they got 4 points, right? They tied a shitty Wolves team. They battered Burnley. Good job. And they went into North London and they beat Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Mourinho. But Sheffield United. And by the way, they put up a fight. Not convincing. Newcastle, you know what? They look a lot better without, Saint Maximin back. Are they going to give you problems? Southampton, no idea what they're going to give you. And then they got really hurt.
They got Vesterberg back finally since Christmas season. So all the teams have been hurt. Like the teams, like if you sort of keep your eye off a team like we had with Southampton, and then they kind of sputter, you realize, they're missing half their team.
That's where I think the middle of the table is so interesting this year because
it's fun.
It is, but right, you've got the teams who were higher, and then they had to start playing a game every 3 days for 4 months, and they're like, oh shit, we don't have the depth of anybody around us, and they organically fall, right? So
except my boys from Leeds who won today. By the way, they have the best record in the league. You ready? 22 played, 10 wins, 2 draws, 10 losses, 38 goals for, 38 against.
That's magnificent.
And 4 man buns.
Yeah, there's 3 teams with more goals against than Leeds.
They're amazing. Amazing.
There's only 4 teams with more goals for. They're a house on fire. I love it.
Please. Bielsa looks like he's near death. Like if he got a heart attack on the sideline, I think I wouldn't be surprised. Like
would they
he's got
stop
a bad
the
back.
Game? Would they stop the game?
Stop the game.
No, because he would be like, just keep going. I'm fucking fine.
But he doesn't look well. He doesn't move well. And I think a lot of it's cult of personality. Like I think if he wasn't their manager, they'd be bad.
Yeah,
because they're playing away. Unless
they wouldn't be playing.
Unless Pochettino took over the team, you know what I mean? Like early Pochettino was just like, what the fuck is going on? Because they played like Bielsa. They were crazy. They were swashbuckling. What killed them is that one transfer window where they didn't sign any players. That literally killed Spurs.
Oh, maybe yes. I thought you were talking about Leeds. I'm like, sounds familiar. I know. Yeah. We've got a good slate. I know we'll talk about it on Thursday, but I'm excited. I'm almost rejuvenated for the rest of the season. Now that I don't have to hear about everybody else winning the fucking title. But yeah, I mean, Leicester, Liverpool, City, Spurs. We've got El Dushiko coming up this weekend on Saturday, and it's a. Are
you worried? I'm not. I didn't even think about it.
No, I mean I haven't really thought about it that much yet. But what the fuck do we have to lose? I don't care.
Yeah, it's gonna be shithousery. It's gonna be Mourinho in a bunker. It's gonna be just when is City gonna score anything, or when is City gonna score?
Yeah.
I mean, we could get hit in a break. It could be a Kane thing. It could happen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's how we did it the last
3 months ago. But you guys were on fire then. That's when you were flying.
Yeah.
But is that this weekend? Yes,
that's this weekend.
But the FA Cup is in between for some teams.
Me. Okay.
All
right. I don't have any. I know we're playing Everton, but that's all I have. So you hit it with the FA Cup stuff.
FA Cup midweek. There's a couple of good games tomorrow. Man United, West Ham. We've got City play Swansea, who are the best defense in the championship on 12 goals against. They're actually pretty fucking good. Southampton Wolves, that game doesn't matter to either of them. You do have Everton. If Jose Mourinho goes for this game with Harry Kane on no ankles, that is criminal. He's going to.
He's going to. I know he's going to. And the problem And
you know
I've
what?
said this.
If Kane is smart, and I don't think he'll do this, he should just be like, I can't play.
He's not capable of doing that. He's just not.
He doesn't, and you shouldn't be, right? You don't want your players to do that.
Here's the thing.
But he should.
He should, but the problem also, I think cynically, you could almost argue he shouldn't, right? What does Harry Kane want more than anything in the world? He wants
to win a trophy. Yeah.
He's not going to sit out of the FA Cup. In fact, if he really was thinking the same way as you, he'd say, "Hey, I can't go for City. I can't do that. I'm going tomorrow against Everton or whenever the fuck the game is, and I can't do City."
Yeah. Leicester play Brighton. That's going to be the game I watch. And then, there's only a couple lower league sides. Barnsley still available, Swansea, Bristol City, but it's championship teams and Premier League teams. So
we don't have the next round of the draw, right? They only did 4 and 5 for some.
Yeah, this gets into the quarterfinals though.
Oh, we have a name for the round. That's how you know it matters. I think that should be the Premier League team's rule with the FA Cup. You should not be able to play, like there should actually be a team, right? Like think of it like you're protecting for an expansion roster, right? Like these players, and it's only half of your starting 11. So it actually is really interesting. You can't play these 7 guys until the quarterfinals. Like I think that would be kind of a good rule for the FA Cup, which does 2 things. A, it helps the lower league sides.
And it makes it more fun.
It makes it more fun. But it also keeps Harry Kane's fucking ankles away from Everton's cleats. Like, Jesus Christ.
So I don't know if you know this, but the reason why the FA Cup is so big is it was traditionally the only game that was televised.
Yeah, no, I know. I get it.
Right? The league games were never on television. It was only on Match of the Day for 2 hours on Sundays. That's it.
I understand. No, I get the historical value of it. And I'm not even shitting on the FA Cup today. But when I look at Spurs season, and they are in 1 cup final already, and they could potentially, hypothetically, get to 2 more in the Europa League, right? So,
Mourinho's going for that Europa League.
I know he is.
That has Mourinho's name. He's going to finish in 5th. He's going to go for the 6th or 7th. Go for the Europa League. He's going to do the Man United, where he gets into the Champions League through the back door.
I know he is. And
except that United team was better than this.
My old argument that I love to bring up is, and everybody's going to pretend that this season, the quality of football we're watching, where everybody's calling for his head until we beat West Brom, which, by the way, why is everybody calming down after we beat West Brom? The old argument has been to this point, well, how is that? That's not better than Pochettino. Just because you got a fucking silver thing, it doesn't mean everything. What I'm trying to think of now is, in American sports, right? We just watched the Super Bowl. We just watched Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl. And they got to celebrate. It was a shitty game. It's not important, right? But like they got to celebrate because they won the Super Bowl, the culmination of their season's work. They beat 3 Super Bowl MVPs, quarterbacks, right? They're fuck Tom Brady for a second. Their defense was magnificent. Holy shit. Deserving of a parade, right? If Spurs beat City in the League Cup in April, are you going to tell me that will be the culmination of a great season? Like
for Spurs fans, yes.
No, it's not. But that's the problem with the psychological part of it, right? And the philosophy where you go, that's a great season. Dude, no, it isn't, right? You don't have one memory.
It's all about context. You get to go to if it was normal.
But they won't even get to go.
Yeah, you get to go to Wembley. It's a day out. You gotta we have this. We've got to not put our American mentality on these things.
No.
We've got a different mentality.
I'm trying.
It's not all rings, right? It's different.
It should be more rings. But 2008, the last time Spurs won was also the League Cup. That year, they smashed the shit out of Arsenal at the Lane in the semifinal. This was peak Wenger Arsenal, almost peak. Really, really good team. Right. And then they beat Chelsea in Wembley in the final. I get it.
That's a good
trophy. That feels fucking good. You've got memories of that game at the Lane. You've got memories of that. You don't have any. What do you have memories of? The penalty shootout at Stamford Bridge that you weren't at? From November? What? No. You Barnsley? You have fucking Barnsley? Really? You loved that one, guys? So that's my problem, is that they're going to sit here and lionize this shit heap of a campaign that has brought our team comfortably backwards.
But here's the thing, right? That Spurs team was Berbatov, Keane. That's Spurs. That's the good Spurs team.
Exactly.
If Kane gets that trophy, it'll be the Son Kane Spurs team. They'll have one thing to have.
Okay.
It matters. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter for City. It matters for Spurs. Do you know what I mean? It's all about context.
No. I do understand the context, but what I'm saying is have your trophy. Arsenal won the FA Cup last year.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Actually, it mattered to them. Yes.
Well, yeah, sure. But at the same time, they're like, hi, the boat is on fire. Thank you for the bucket of water. We need a fire hose. Like somebody figure it out.
But they were really happy. You should go back, watch one of those AFTV things.
I know.
We've got our manager. We finished
because
really strong. We beat City. We beat Liverpool. We beat Chelsea to win the FA Cup. That was huge.
It's a big. I understand, and I'm not belittling that, but I think it was as much about the fact that they had achieved that and won that trophy as it was they're on the up and up. Right? Think about before this season, Arsenal looked pretty good coming into this year. Right? So I mean, maybe not.
Yeah, they had a good post-lock.
Good outlook. They had a good outlook. Spurs, are you kidding me? If Spurs are finishing in 7th place and they're in the Europa League semifinal at this point and they win this bullshit cup against City.
What if you win the treble?
That's what I mean, dude.
A shit treble.
The shittiest treble there ever was. It's
the Liverpool treble. They won it. They won that treble.
Yeah. If there's a team that can do it next, it's us. But I just.
No, dude, that would count. That would be a real treble.
I'll give you fine. If we win 3 fucking trophies and one of them gets us into Champions League, you know what? Tip of my cap. I get it. But
what you don't want is the double. You don't want the League Cup and the FA Cup. If you're going to do a double, well, actually, the only one that matters is the Europa. The other ones don't matter.
Well, financially, right? But and functionally. But that's the thing is that I just struggle to everything about American sports. It's not about the ring for me. It really isn't. Because I think about the 2014 Rangers who lost the cup final, and I still think about that team all the time. I think about the Spurs Champions League team. I think about, some of the Yankees teams from when I was younger.
They had moments. And here's the problem. Mourinho does not give you moments because he plays like shit.
But the funny thing is that halfway through the fucking year, or a third of the way through the year, he was, right? You had all these different Son and Kane hookups and crazy goals and all that stuff. And the music died against West Brom, and then all of a sudden nobody's allowed past the halfway point. Like, I'm sorry, what? So that's the problem is that we were promised results, and he's selling snake oil.
Yeah, this is our narrative portion of the show where we get way out there. But I mean, and it is more your Spurs therapy show but we do have to wrap up. But let's just make sure we can go through the schedule on Thursday. Wait. Yeah. No. Yeah. That was the wrap up for the week. All that matters is Liverpool are out. City are champions elect with a 5-point lead. Come on. But no one would say
cruise control right now. Yeah. Not yet champions elect.
And there is no real fight at the bottom. It'll be a real battle for those Champions League spots. I mean, to the death. Yeah. Whoever doesn't make it.
And generally speaking, that's what we get.
Right? And Liverpool are really in trouble. That shit's real.
Okay. So you generally get a title race or a top 4 race, not usually both.
Yeah.
And you usually get a relegation fight. We're not going to get the relegation fight in all likelihood. We're probably not going to get the title fight, but we are definitely getting 2 through 5 totally up for grabs right now. So really cool.
Here's what I want that I really need to have happen. I really need City to fucking just somehow create a narrative. There's Foden narrative, but that's it. It's we're just not an important team. It's shocking. We win leagues and nobody cares. It's bizarre.
Get Noel Gallagher to write another song about how nobody cares. That's actually how you do it. You get Noel Gallagher to be to just strum up Wonderwall 2, but it's basically how everybody doesn't give a shit about City and they're so great.
Just sign Mario Balotelli for no reason than to just blow things up. Give me someone. It's this. It's so zero personality. That's the other problem. It's just there's nothing coming out of those guys. It's a tight ship. It's all cult of personality Pep, and Pep is boring. Yeah, relatively, except when he's not. So it's all we have is football.
Well, Sergio Aguero dyes his hair just because he's bored. That's it.
Dude, he can't speak English. He's been in Manchester for 10 years. What are you doing? The thing that's funny to me about City is there's an opportunity to be a real personality if you would just step up, and there just isn't any. It's shocking. Anyway, this is the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast. I have lasagna in the oven. We do this show on Mondays and Thursdays. Mike is going to come around because something's going to happen, and he's going to get excited again, and I'm going to remind him of this episode in particular. But until then, what do you have to say about the FA Cup? Not good, huh? All right.
Nothing.